Hello and welcome to the Whatever I'm Obsessed With This Time podcast, episode 5. One of my favorite topics that I finally get to talk about, which is sad songs that hit you at the right moment. But before that, I want to talk about something else that I talked about on my live stream last night. So I know I talked about my photo project, but I feel like something that I did think of originally, but I never thought about it till now, is just because whenever I'm working on something, I kind of like have to split it up with self-care. And it's one of those things that, like the photo project for me is a hobby. It's not something to advertise my work. It's something that gives me something to do and be productive. Now, that being said, I still have to listen to music. And a thing about me is, if I listen to too much music, I might take like a break, either a break or a day, 2 day. I don't think a 3 day, but about 1 day to a 2 day break of just not listening to music at all. Maybe nothing, nowhere. But aside from that, and it would defeat the whole pattern that I have going through that day. So what I want to do is to break up the monotony of focusing on specifically, the photo project, as well as my self-care routine. I want to do designs that represent tracks that I've made. Now, I'm going to have a community poll. You can vote on picking specific tracks. I'll make a playlist of my entire discography and you can go through it. Or I could just do it all. It's really up to you. It gives me something to do. It's productive, promotes the brand. And aside from that, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. Now I'm going to get into my favorite topic, which is what I've already mentioned. So with this, I'm going to go through a little bit of the history. When it comes to music, I didn't really respect music to this high level until I was in high school. I feel like that's the time where a lot of people grow more appreciative of media that they just gravitate towards: books, movies, shows. For me, it's music. But nowadays, it kind of gravitates towards a little bit of shows and movies as well. But primarily, forever, it will always be music. Now, my history with this whole getting into what I would deem as my favorite category of music, which is the emotional category. Not specifically emo, because you will see how it will change throughout. But it did start with emo. So 3 songs that will always be important to me, but I can't exactly remember what came first in order. So the first one is Ally for Cody by Census Fail, which is not my favorite Census Fail song. How Life Is Not a Waiting Room isn't even like a top 3 favorite album of mine from them. But that song will always be important to me, specifically for the verse that goes, sure looks easy when you're something. Your hero has 1,000 faces, none of them watching mine. Fuck the world, fuck the stars, fuck the person you are. I won't give up until I will not give up until stop folding my cards. I'm pretty sure that's the lyric. It's one of my favorite verses ever. And then after that, there was Alkaline Trio's Radio, which is the song that got me through high school, just straight up. Alkaline Trio has always been a band for me that's fueled my angst, but that song kind of goes above and beyond. It delivers an emotional delivery in a way that I feel like no other band has, and I've always looked for music that is fit that bill. Then afterwards, I'm pretty sure was the Blonde Hair, Black Lungs by Sorority Noise. And Sorority Noise was the band that got me into the 2010s emo revival. Now, specifically, If I remember correctly. Yeah, so at this time, I was in, like, I'd say the eye of the storm before I was about to get hit with depression. And from then on, like, a lot of the music kind of just made me, I felt like I just wanted to isolate myself from people. And I feel like, you know, some of that music just, like, I don't want to say it encourages you, but, you know, when you're not thinking correctly and you're listening to that type of stuff, like, you could just listen to, you look at the lyrics themselves. And it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't even have a girlfriend. I didn't have any relationship with anyone to the level of, like, oh yeah, like, this song, like, really, you know, really understands what I'm going through. It's more just, I wanted to hear them yell and scream about something that it was just fun, just, you know, repeat the lyrics and scream and sing back. So at that point, going down the whole emo, or the 2010s Midwest emo revival, there was a lot of stuff to go through. There was a song called Heaven Sent by Trophy Eyes, and that was, I'd say that was kind of a shifting point. I mean, it was still like the same, like, screaming emo that I was just looking for more of, and that song still holds up to this day. I know a lot of people like them for what they are now, and they didn't really find the emo thing worked. But that song is just a staple. It's a great significant song for the time, and I feel like a lot of other bands that try to recreate the exact same style just from that song alone. I can't really tell you anything about anything else from that era of Trophy Eyes, but I just love that song, and it's just kind of reminds me of, like, we'll get to it, but like Tiny Moving Parts. And you know, you can tell where, like, this pattern is going to be going. So after that song, I mean, if I had to pick a favorite song, it's tied between that one and Some of My Friends Sell Drugs, But I Just Write Sad Songs. You know, like that one. Those two are still, like, just, they're great songs. But then I think there was Tiny Moving Parts, which I don't listen to anymore. I've heard a lot of things about the band, and while I'm not normally ones for, like, stop listening to stuff that gets canceled, there's just something about that guy's voice, and when you read about some things, it's just doesn't resonate with me anymore. But I loved the way he delivered his vocals. Kind of was inspiring to want to do my own music, so I will say that. And again, everything just kind of, like, you know, it's just angst-filled emo music that accompanied me when I was just depressed and sad. And then we get to, funny enough, or what song was it? There was a song that I actually discovered from my dad, and it's a very well-known song in the 2000s, mid 2000s. And a lot of people actually have wrote in the comments of the music video that this song has saved their lives, and I can say that it did the same for me. A song called Wires by Athlete is probably, it's definitely one of the reasons that kind of inspired me to talk about this whole subject, because when I heard that song, you know, it's just, it kind of hit me in the way that, like, Iris did. Iris is kind of like one of those, it's not really a sad song, but the way it's sang, it's kind of like sappy. Iris is sappy, but it's like the good kind of sappy that you can sing like karaoke to, and everybody would just have a great time. Athlete Wires is kind of not the same at all. It actually had an effect on me, and I remember downloading it on my phone, and I listened to it nonstop. And then even like the day that one of the most hardest times in my life, when I was contemplating suicide, when I heard that song, yeah, I completely understood everybody's story around that song. And it will always be a very important song to me. And like, honestly, if I could ever cover it, I would. It is a very important song to me. Now, at the same time, oh yeah, no, I did forget one. So, funny enough, there was, at this, also during this time, I discovered what, like, the whole thing with Doomers is, Doomer Wave specifically, and I got into the Doomer Wave playlist, and the one song that always stood out to me, I mean, aside from, classic, Where's My Mind, that kind of felt like, an Irish thing. But there was always another important song in my entire life, actually, that I should have talked about before Wires, is, I always forget the name, but it's like The Same Things Happen to Me, Even in My Dreams by Teen Suicide. That song, that's the number one song I want to cover. That is literally the number one song that I want to cover, because that was kind of the shifting point where I knew that I was not well, and I just progressively got into more, I wanted to just listen to music that sounded like your music to die to, music that you would just want to, do stuff that you would regret to. And that was, as much as I don't want to advocate for that stuff, this song really just, because I knew there's like yelling, screaming about your relationships, and then there's this song that, as far as I know, is just talking about not wanting to be around and wanting to just die. And I just got more into that stuff morbidly. And then I heard like I Was All Over Her by Salvia Path, and that's just kind of like I mean, it is still there are some, that whole wave of music is something that I will always associate with high school, and I really wish I didn't have to. I really wish I could just enjoy it and sleep to it, but no. Everything that I've went through, I made an entire playlist called the September playlist, which is all depressing music, which I'll also advertise another playlist at the end of this, by the way. Hopefully I'll remember that. But from then on, I found an artist called Flat Sound. And if you don't know about Flat Sound is, as much as I don't even listen to him anymore, he will always be an inspiration for my music, because I feel like that, and especially with this new upcoming project, there is a lot of teen suicide and Flat Sound influence within my vocal delivery. And from then on, yeah, then I made the September playlist. I would listen to a lot of indie, I call it bedroom indie pop, bedroom indie rock. There was Sore Eyelids. I haven't heard Sore Eyelids in a while, and I can't tell you anything about the band, but they're good. They were really good from what I heard, but I've not listened to them in about 4 years. But great band. And then the other one was, there's a song called, the song's called Creature, and it's by a band called It Looks Sad. And this just summons up my entire grade 10. From the whole, just really being for everything that I've went through, and a lot of pain that I caused people, this song to me will all, like, I love this song, but it also just, it's one of those songs that I can't listen to without feeling guilty. But it's one of the, it's a really powerful song. It's very simple, but I love the lyrics, you know, like, I'm in love with somebody and it's not you. Like, it's just so simple, but oh my God, I love and hate that song at the same time. And then I guess then there was Modern Baseball. I don't want to talk about anything to do with Modern Baseball. There'll be another, I'll save that for a conversation another day, because I'm not ready to talk about the whole time with Modern Baseball. Then Balance and Composure. And Balance and Composure is a band that, you know, to me it's kind of like, you know, a band that I want to love more than I actually do, you know, is like Green Day. Balance and Composure, for me, I love a lot of their songs, but I don't love it nearly as much as everybody else does, which is, I feel guilty, because they're an amazing band. They have amazing lyrics. That song, I Tore You Apart in My Head, is such a, or I Tore You Apart, like, that song is so good, such a great emo song, that I just wish I could love this band more. And I love a lot of their songs. If you look at my Spotify, I like have almost all of them hearted. I just wish that I could appreciate it on the same level as I do like his solo project, Currents. And Currents, oh my God, Currents is it Currents? I think it's Currents. Currents is so damn good. I love the guy's voice when it's just stripped back. Currents is so good. But yeah, aside from that, what else was there? Getting into more. At one point, I discovered, what's that damn band? Have a Nice Life. I don't have nearly as much appreciation for it as, you know, other people do. But that album was something. I'm glad it wasn't depressed when I listened to that album. And then there's, you know, Downward Spiral by 9 Inch Nails, another album that was also something that I'm glad I didn't listen to when I was depressed. There was an artist that I really got into. I genuinely have a hard time remembering what I listened to. From high school. I'm just trying to like go in, you know, chronological order. I graduated, or was there anything I listened to before I graduated? I mean, yeah, okay, so I guess I'll talk about 2021. I've talked about this many times before, and every time it changes, because my opinion on this track always changes. But I created a track called If Obsessiveness Won't Kill Me, Then He Will. It was off my first music project, Turtle Pond. The original had a hard step switch up that made 0 sense. So then I remade it, and then I had to remake it again because there was a cutout issue with the first re-record, or the redux version. So with this song, this will always be a very important, you know, time in my career. Well, not career, music career, time in my life. But there was this person that I had a friend that wasn't a very mentally well friend, and he told me some things that were very concerning, including like something that involved a person that I cared about very dearly. So because when I warned that person, then they like blocked me on everything, and the song, or that whole track was like, if something happens after this isn't my fault because I warned them, you know? So that's what the track reflected at the time. But more and more I listen to it, the more I have other ways of looking at it. Often or not, I think of it as like, if I was obsessed with wanting to be liked by people, and that whole, whenever that didn't work, if that doesn't kill me, then God will. And that's where I got the idea for the name, despite the overall atmosphere and musical structure being inspired by the other story. But every time I listen to this, the Redux version, not the original, every time I listen to the, I think it's called the re-recorded one, or the actual re-recorded one, I think about, I don't think about high school. I don't think about that dark time in my life. I think about that this was the first time I made something that not only has an emotional impact on me, but will probably more than likely have an emotional impact on someone else. And that kind of inspired the brand, that kind of inspired my way of thinking for going and creating music from then on. Because it was no longer just making a single. It was that hardship and abandonment's not a good word. Hardship and rejection, inspired me to create something so great that I should dig deeper to make more music that's meaningful, instead of just making music that, I would want people to listen to. It's more just, here is my life through music. Here are my emotions and here are my thoughts. Lucas from Afar is highly, highly influenced by my thoughts and feelings. But Turtle Pond was more than likely just trying to recreate memories that are gone. And then what was once great, that's a whole other story. But that was the first track that had an emotional impact on me, that I created, that I would listen to whenever I'm sad, depressed, and even then I ended up creating Lucas from Afar, and a track that at the start I did gravitate a lot towards. If you were here right now, I'd give you a great big hug. But then I created something even better, which is I just wanted to let you know that whatever happens after this isn't going to be your fault, which is the conclusion to Lucas from Afar, and finally owning up, or finally surpassing that, all that stuff that I'm afraid to approach, and then going deep into my feelings about the entire, situation that inspired me to make music. And that became my new, I'm just going to continue, or I'll listen to this. I do gravitate towards between them both, but, they all have important places. I feel like definitely the second one is more the mature, my mature way of accepting what I can't change, while the other one is just reliving, or not reliving, I guess re-experiencing, what changed my entire musical, or perception of music in general. And so I guess, and then from there, there's a lot of stuff I could talk about, There was an album, shoot, actually, I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2021. It might have been 2021. But in 2021, I heard a song called Eiley by Too Close to Touch. And when I listened to the entire album, I was like, this is what I want metal this is what I want from metal, which is a metalcore album about something that is about death, but you don't know about it. The entire whole thing isn't mentioned. It's all about this guy's feelings, really, up until the final track, which is Eiley. And Eiley is a masterpiece of an emotional song that is not just focused on being, you know, emo or sad. It is pure emotion from the metal scene, or metalcore scene. And it's really a shame that the lead singer, I already forgot his name, but the lead singer of the band died in the year after. I'm pretty sure 2022. The lead singer died in 2022, and then in 2023 we had the original lead singer of Scarlet Drive die, which was, again, those just two things back to back really affected me. But this song to me is still, like, it's one of my favorite, like, I guess, you know, emotional crying songs. But it's a must listen to song. And there was yeah, so, and then somewhere down the line, when I did get back into Midwest emo, I did, oh yeah, it was, 2021. Yeah, when I got back into Midwest emo, there's a song called I'll Take You Everywhere by Penfold. That song originally for me was one of my favorite songs of all time through high school, but it really didn't struck an emotional chord with me until probably 2021, which was, you know, when people left. And that song is I would say it's one of the best Midwest emo songs ever. It's a long build-up. And and then, you know, it's kind of slow through, like, the middle, and then it just brings it home with, like, the final verses. And then whenever he says, like, I'll take you everywhere, and then it's such a great song. And then another song that I heard probably either the same year or the year after, I think it was definitely the year after. A band called Benton Falls. They have a song called All These Things. It was the first song off the album Fighting Starlight, and Fighting Starlight is an amazing emo album. But this song it's a really powerful song that I feel like no one, like, really talks about, no one really, like, you know, thinks about. And I don't really know what it's about. It sounds like kind of like it could be a breakup, with a friend. But my favorite part about it is, like, after he's, like, talking about, like, kind of going the separate ways, they go into, like, this, I guess, like, I don't know what to call it. It's not a guitar solo, but they go into this section where you hear him yell, "Thank you for," when he says, like, "Thank you for everything," and then I guess, yeah, and then it goes into, like, a guitar solo. But it's a very powerful song. But the most important emo song of all time to me, specifically Midwest emo, is Parking Lot by Mineral. This song to me really just made me fall in love with guitars, and the whole perception of how a guitars played can provoke an emotion that you just and that I've always thought about, like, within certain types of music, like maybe pop rock, when they play, like, a, you know, like a sad guitar solo or something like that. But this song is just the epitome of this. Whenever this guitar comes in, you're going to be crying. Like, it is so damn good, and I love it. And despite me not liking the entire song, because, I mean, you know, then it becomes like what it is. But that guitar is a staple for the genre. It's almost like, you know, like whenever the guitar comes in with from In Circles by Sunny Day Real Estate. But this song, or the guitar in this song, really provokes emotion, and it's easily like one of my a go-to song, like whenever I'm down. Now that being said, I think we're approaching. Then I guess I'll talk about Nothing Nowhere. Now, my favorite artist is Nothing Nowhere. I love pretty much almost his entire discography. And the song, I mean, songs with this guy are amazing because you can go from like hype music to sad music to self-reflection music that you just that makes me like, I've said this before, it reminds me of, it's something that like both entities of myself, like my high school self and my self now. And I love when artists and bands can still do that. It's why I can't listen to a lot of other stuff from high school, but when I listen to Nothing Nowhere, like, it's just, this is kind of like, I mean, you know, like, I'm 20, and, like, this is, like, something that, like, I mean, I like my mature, specific indie rock, I like my angst emo, and I like the music to kind of just remind me who I am as a person, and, honestly, keep me prepared for the future. A lot of, I mean, like, Ruiner for me will always be the song that will always be like a very important song to me, and I feel like Ruiner is the chorus to Ruiner just highlights a lot of regret that I have for high school. But then when you listen to the other songs off of Ruiner, and even just continuing to listen through his albums, he got through it, and he keeps going on. And that's what I like about when you can find a song that really hits you deep about something that, you know, happened in the past, and then you can continue listening to the discography to kind of like just show that the overall progression, getting past all that. And that's what I just love about this artist. It's such an important song. When he says, "I lost my mind, I lost my best friend," that resonates with me just so well. However, I have a couple songs to like really mention from him. So there's that. There's Wooden Home whenever I'm like really down. My personal favorite from him originally was Real, but the live version of Real off of Trauma Factory. I love the chorus, but really just how honest he is with his lyrics when he's talking about like a fan approaching him and saying like, "I would die for you. How do you deal with all this anxiety?" and all that. Like, I don't hear other artists talking like that. And the fact he's very real, you know, he's just very real on his live streams and his music. I just don't find the same with other artists. Most recently, the song I've talked about Dark Magic, and Bad Luck is, as much as Bad Luck is just, there's nothing really to talk about with Bad Luck. That's like a song that I've still constantly been going back to. If I'm sad, if I'm not sad, if I'm depressed, if I'm not depressed, if I'm happy, it just keeps going. And I genuinely cannot explain why I love this song so much. And I know a lot of other people are feeling the same way. It's probably going to be my second most played song. And I'm gonna save the number one reason why I got of what inspired me to make this at the end, because I am saving a specific song for that. So then there's, but yeah, and then most recently, when I had time to kill, I finally listened to, I didn't even finish it, but most of all of his one-take sessions. And if you ask me what's my personal favorite, I will tell you it is True Love. And I feel conflicted because I love a lot of music, even specifically like someone that I kind of compare to is Yellow Card. Yellow Card is a band that, it's fine. They do what they do well, but I always remember them for their choruses. And I really feel guilty about this song because as much as I like a lot of the lyrics, and again, it's the one take version, so it's just him playing the guitar. Like just him talking about like pull up with the drip, like life is a bitch, and then they go into like one of the best choruses, like, redone on guitar. It's just, it's conflicting for me. But I love the song, but where it falls in line, like when I'm going to listen to it, I don't know if I'm conflicted on putting it even in this category of sad songs that hit you at the right moment, because it's an amazing chorus, but it's just one of those songs that like there is something to that kind of takes that out. That leads us to the number one reason why I made this episode. There's a song, I don't remember when I heard it. It was either last year or the year before. I guarantee, though, it was probably last year. And it is now officially my most played song on Spotify. It's called I Became a Prostitute by the Twilight Sad. Now, for me, post-punk has always been a hit or miss genre for me, because I'm either bored or I really need to be sad to listen to this. Now, this song to me is kind of like the same for Bad Luck, because I just really love the chorus for this song so damn much. This band kind of reminds me of We Were Promised Jetpacks, because I'm pretty sure they're both Scottish. I'm pretty sure they're both Scottish. And I was talking about this band with someone, and they said, "Oh, they're just an off-brand Cure." I'm like, "Have you heard We Were Promised Jetpacks? This sounds more like We Were Promised Jetpacks than The Cure." I mean, they might have. I guess they do have some songs that are very highly Cure influenced, but this song, to me, could not be made by The Cure. This is its own perfect amount of indie rock, fuzzy, not shoegaze, post-punk that I'm dying to hear more of from the post-punk indie rock genre catalog. It is an amazing song. I really wish I could just play the chorus because it's so damn good. It's unbelievably good. That this is like, if I had to describe a song of the year, that is probably going, it's not, I wouldn't put it on my list for song of the year, but like the song to define my year is probably going to be that song. And I don't mean to jinx myself, like knock on wood, but if my grandfather dies, like I might just make it my song of the year this year. It's one of those songs that, it's just one of those songs, man. People say that in the comments, just one of those songs. It's just one of those songs. That being said, I'm pretty sure I covered everything I wanted to cover on this podcast episode. The next topic might be about, I'm debating on whether it's going to be about the movie Man on Fire, which is my favorite movie of all time, and that might change though at some point, or Max Payne 3. Now, Man on Fire, I could summon that up in an episode, but Max Payne 3 requires a little bit more research and a more in-depth analysis before I put that episode out. So those two might be it, or I might come up with something else. We will see. So I did forget, as stated, I said that there was going to be a playlist. Because this episode contains, you know, a lot of very specific material and serious subjects to do with like mental health and all that, I do have a mental health playlist. The title I want this title to suggest the reality of, you know, bad mental health, specifically, you know, serious moments and times where you truly feel at your lowest and you're kind of on that brink of breaking. That, you know, I've went through it. I know tons of other people have. So I don't want this title to be in bad faith for this playlist. I don't want this title to be in bad faith. If, you know, if you are someone else is struggling, there are many different resources. I made this playlist because it's honestly the truth. When I felt this way, that's when I named the playlist. I don't want it to be like an ironic. I don't want it to be interpreted in an ironic sense. No, this is truly this is music that I listen to when I'm at my like very lowest, and this is also it varies between tones and genres. Some people might like angry stuff, so I have some angry stuff, but at the end of the day, it's all emotional. There's some really like hardcore stuff in terms of like tone wise. So it should be stated that if you are listening to on shuffle, just keep your mind open to whatever you're consuming, and is it the right time to listen to this? I listen to all this stuff. Sometimes it varies, but most often I will just put this playlist on shuffle, listen to whatever is going to play. And I find after, I don't know, maybe 16 tracks, I start to feel better and I start to carry on my day, do other things. Even if you're sad, this is still a great playlist. I don't mean that this is like for the hardcore people that are struggling. It's really for anyone at the end of the day that really needs to listen to this stuff. And there's some really good stuff. I'm not entirely sure if I have some canceled artists / bands, but if I do, it is in good faith. I know I didn't mention it in this episode, but Sorority Noise had a tremendous impact on my, honestly, just thinking about life in general. Their music really resonated with me, and it's a shame that the lead singer did what he did, or not. I'm not entirely sure. Like I know that there's probably, I don't know if it was just a statement or if there's evidence or anything about that. Not a lot of people really talked about them. I know there's a whole thing with Moose Blood that apparently was clean, and yet people are still not accepting them, and yet Tiny Moving Parts is still making music. So, but yeah. Regarding that, there's probably, if anything, you know, Jesus Christ by Brand New is probably on there. Maybe that's just another song that I would have mentioned if, you know, but regardless, this is way too long to go on about. This is the ending. Peace.